down.
Active pass. He'll look to fire deep and intercepted. Stretchy, diving. He's in.
Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
Live from the campus of Fargo Oak Grove Lutheran Schools in North Fargo, yourliveevent.com, bringing you North Dakota High School 11-man Class B football featuring the Oak Grove Grovers and the Kindred Vikings. Daniel Gutterson here with you. Alongside me is Jerry Peralta, getting you ready for some Southeast 11-man Class B North Dakota High School football. A couple teams coming off some decidedly different last games out, with the Kindred Vikings raising the eyebrows of many across the state with their 37-0 win over previously unbeaten Central Cass last weekend, while Oak Grove fell to 0-5 and was beat handedly by the Lisbon Broncos 52-7. We'll hear from both head coaches along with dive into some stats as we get you ready for the Kindred Vikings taking on the Oak Grove Grovers. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website adamn.gov.
At Oak Grove Lutheran School, your student will receive an education focused on strong academics, faith formation, and a heart for service. Oak Grove challenges students to discover their potential and create a better world. From sports, music, theater, and robotics, students will find a place to grow their talents. The mission of Oak Grove Lutheran School is to express God's love by nurturing students for academic achievement, lifelong Christian commitment, and loving service throughout the world. Learn more at oakgrovelutheran.com.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with Your Live Event.
Bergstrom Eye and Laser Clinic offers the highest quality of care with a personal touch. Vision is one of life's most precious gifts, not to be taken lightly. At Bergstrom Eye, their goal is to earn their patients' trust and loyalty and to maximize the quality of their lives. They strive to exceed patients' expectations and help each patient understand all aspects of their eye health care. Bergstrom Eye is located on South University Drive in Fargo. Book an appointment today at bergstromeye.com.
Welcome back to the Oak Grove campus. Daniel Gunnarsson alongside Jerry Peralta, getting you ready for Class B 11-man North Dakota High School football and the Irie Insurance pregame show, getting you ready for this matchup. Irie Insurance is dedicated to protecting your assets, whether you need personal insurance in Minnesota or farm insurance in North Dakota. Go online to irieinsurance.com for more information. Matt Crane, the head coach of the Kindred Vikings. A big win for that team last week, 37-0 over Central Cass. Now turning their attention to the Grovers as we hit the halfway point of the season. Had a chance to catch up with the head coach of the Vikings prior to this game. Here with Matt Crane, head coach of the Kindred Vikings, taking on Oak Grove tonight. Matt, another division matchup, but before we start talking about Oak Grove, let's go back to last week. Big matchup against Central Cass, and you guys really delivered. Start off by talking about that defense, 4 interceptions, and just what they were able to do.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal game by our defense and our kids. They came out with a great intensity, and we were able to get the quarterback, get to him early and just get enough pressure to where we altered some throws and jumped some passing lanes and just kind of worked out in our favor and won the turnover battle, and it ended up good for us on the scoreboard.
No doubt, 37-0 the final there. Now you switch your attention to tonight against Oak Grove. Oak Grove in the standings, it's no secret they're at the bottom and you guys are near the top. So how do you prepare your team mentally to make sure that they stay ready and stay focused for this game?
Yeah, and our whole mantra all year is win today, and it's trying to get better and improve every day in practice, every drill, everything that we do. And so today's no different. We got an opponent in front of us today, and you can't take anything for granted in this game and in life. And so that's the message getting into our kids, and we're going to get out there and we're going to focus on the things that we can control, and we're going to try and play good, hard, physical football, and we'll see how it shakes out.
Last week for them, the Grovers, was a tough one, but before that they've played a couple really close games. They've been right there towards the end. What do you know about them? What are we kind of scheming against? Give us a little breakdown on the Grovers.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And you have teams that I've played in the past. A team that might not have had a win and they lose every game by 30 points. So that's not this team. They're a couple of plays away from being right in the thick of a playoff hunt. So they're competitive. I have yet to see a game where kids are just rolling over and just quitting, and so that's a testament to their program, their coaches, and what they're doing. And we know it's going to be a game they're going to come out and play tough, and so we're going to have to be ready for that. And they got a good running game and a tough running back in Card, and we're going to have to come after him and try to see if they can make somebody else beat us, and that's kind of the game plan.
How about for you guys offensively? You've been able to run the ball really well. Give us some guys, some young men to watch for tonight.
Trey Heinrich is one. He's kind of been our go-to back, and we'll feature him tonight. And Max Mcquillen's our quarterback, and we'll try to open some stuff up tonight with him and see if we can't get some stuff going through the air. And we got a number of guys that we feel good about, and we'll see how the game plan shakes out, just see what they plan to do defensively, and hopefully we can capitalize.
Last thing I want to bring up is the size of your offensive line. You guys have some big boys up there. What's it like getting those five out there every day in practice and just knowing you have some comfort you can run behind the Hogs there?
It's great. It's I've coached in Kindred now for 8 years, and I would say this is my best, most physical, I should say, offensive line, 1 to 5. And it's resulted in some great practices, and it's translated on Friday nights. There are guys that even if we don't get it in right away at the beginning of the game, they're leaning on them in the third and fourth quarter, and it's starting to wear on some teams. And so that's really where we want to hang our hat at the end of the day is the run game and those big boys, and we tell them that's the game plan. So they got to bring it every night.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time, and good luck.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Here with Melvin Whitney, Matt Crane, the head coach of the Kindred Vikings, giving us an opportunity to talk to him before the game. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will hear from the head coach of the Oak Grove Grovers, Melvin Whitney. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
Back here on the Irie Insurance pregame show, Kindred Vikings taking on the Oak Grove Grovers. Kindred, a decidedly different season so far, 4-1 overall. They've had an opportunity to play well against some really solid teams, including Central Cass. They've scored a ton of points so far this year, averaging 43.4 points per game, and that's a tall task for the Grovers, who give up about 34 points a game, to come in and stop this high-powered offense. We had a chance to talk to Melvin Whitney, the head coach of the Grovers, about just that prior to the game, along with his team's season and the resiliency that he has seen from his young men in 2021. Here with Melvin Whitney, head coach of the Fargo Grove Grovers. Melvin, so far this year, the results on the field in terms of the score haven't been what you want, but definitely have noticed a fight with your team, especially 2 of the last 3 weeks. There's been some really close games. You guys have been really there. Just talk me through what you've seen from your players as they've fought in those games and they've battled throughout the season.
Yeah, they're a never give up attitude with these kids, and that's the one thing, it's a silver lining in this whole thing when you look at it. I mean, of course you want a couple more W's on the board, but seeing the kids not give up and keep fighting each week, and we're in games in each week, other than the last week or whatever. So that's a feather in their hat to the kids, is resiliency and their perseverance through what can be a tough season when not winning a game.
Tonight you've got a really good team on your field in Kindred. What is your kind of game plan strategy coming into this to try and slow down a really high-powered offense, especially on the ground?
Well, you hope I can lock them in the locker room so they don't get out. That'd be the first start.
That's going to be tough. I can hear them bouncing
around. I think they're out already, so I guess that's out of the play. So we'll try to figure out, different ways. They have different weapons out there: quarterback, running, defensive, aggressive line. So it's going to be a tough one. We just have to, again, just use that fight that we've had and, keep trying to figure out something as we go through the game. So,
from your perspective, what are you guys looking to make sure and try and do offensively first off, and then maybe defensively as well? But offensively, start there. What are you guys looking to try and accomplish, looking to do early on with this team?
Yeah, we got to eliminate mistakes on offense. We've killed some drives with some, stupid penalties and, turnover here or there. Or just we get a big play and then we look up and there's a flag on the ground because we're holding or something like that. So I think if we can eliminate some of those and, try to control the clock that way to keep that high-powered offense off the field.
For them, they have such a large line, a lot of big kids on that offensive line. How do you plan to counter that size that they have?
Well, you got to use speed and angles, I guess. That's probably the best way to look at it, is that you can't take some of those guys head on, big physical kids like that. You got to try to hit them at angles and use our speed to go against them because, like you said, they're a big physical bunch up front.
If you come away from tonight's game and you look at your kids in the eye, obviously the victory is what you want, but is there anything specific that you're looking for as you're midway through the season, as your team continues to play through?
Yeah, again, that's just keeping that spirit of fighting all the way through. We can't, no matter what the record is, no matter what the score is, we got to keep fighting because you never know what can happen. So that would be the one thing that I'll look for as a thing to say, hey, did we – I'll ask the kids, I have to ask them every week, did we give our all? And if they can look me in the eye and look themselves in the mirror and say they did, then, I'm fine with that.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Melvin Whitney for taking the time this afternoon before the kickoff to talk about his football team and where he believes they're going to go, especially in this game, how they're going to perform against the Kindred Vikings. We'll take one more break. When we come back on your live event. We will dig into the numbers for both teams between the Kindred Vikings and the Oak Grove Grovers and the starting lineups. You're watching.
At Oak Grove Lutheran School, your student will receive an education focused on strong academics, faith formation, and a heart for service. Oak Grove challenges students to discover their potential and create a better world. From sports, music, theater, and robotics, students will find a place to grow their talents. The mission of Oak Grove Lutheran School is to express God's love by nurturing students for academic achievement, lifelong Christian commitment, and loving service throughout the world. Learn more at oakgrovelutheran.com. Sunderland Group is your leader in health and wealth, located in Fargo. Sunderland Group was established in 1986 and is one of the premier marketing organizations in the insurance business. Your success is important to the folks at Sunderland Group and is why they continue to develop cutting-edge solutions that assist in growth opportunities. They're a proud supporter of Oak Grove and Grover Athletics. For more information, visit sunderlandgroup.com. That's sunderlandgroup.com. The team at Donna Bauer Family Dentistry is a proud sponsor of Oak Grove football. Their team is focused on comprehensive and trusted care and offers services in general dentistry, orthodontics, and cosmetic dentistry. Let them put their experience to work for you at Donna Bauer Family Dentistry. We love to see your smile. Donna Bauer Family Dentistry is located at 211 on Fifth Street South in Moorhead, or go online to donnabauerdentistry.com. Since 1981, Park Christian School has been educating the next generation of leaders in the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area. Park Christian's thoroughly Christian education and commitment to academic excellence has resulted in a confident tradition of student success. Students graduate from Park Christian School strong in their faith and well prepared for the rigors of college, career, and relationships. Call 218-236-0500 to schedule your visit or go online to parkchristianschool.org.
Back here on YourLiveEvent.com, Daniel Gunnarsson, Jerry Peralta with you for tonight's broadcast of the Grovers of Oak Grove taking on the Vikings of Kindred. We got a chance to hear from both head coaches, but just a little bit of a breakdown here statistically of what we could expect from both teams. When we look at the visitors on the scoreboard, the Kindred Vikings, they come in averaging about 43.4 points per game, 220.6 yards on the ground, 157.8 yards through the air. Very dominant team offensively, but it was defense last week, as I bring in Jerry Peralta, that really helped the Vikings to the victory. 4 interceptions against Central Cass.
Well, yeah, and that's definitely one of the big things that Kindred's going to be rolling off of is throughout this season, they have done a great job defensively. In fact, you look at how they've shaped up over these past 3 games that they've played. They have outscored their opponents or held their opponents to a total of only 26 points. And that Central Cass was held to 0 last week. So, I mean, this defense has just done it all for Kindred. And it also helps that when they have an offense who can have these long extended drives, give your defense breaks. So when you do come in, you're refreshed and you're ready to go.
Absolutely. On the other side, you think of the Grovers, Oak Grove, 0-5 right now, and last week a 52-7 loss to the Lisbon Broncos, who sit atop the Southeast standings with Central Cass and Kindred. But I look at the previous 2 games prior to that with Sargent County and Oaks, lost by a total of 5 points in both those games. You get a couple wins there, and this game feels different. This new program feels different, and that's something that the Coach Whitney had said in the pregame interview, that these guys are just a couple plays away, and tonight it's going to be a challenge, but the resiliency is something that he's been really impressed with his team so far. What do you feel, Jerry, is going to be something to look for tonight with the Grovers as they come up against the Vikings?
Well, the first thing for them is, you know, I had the opportunity to be at the Lisbon game last week and cover that. And offensively, they did a good job of maintaining these long drives. They were able to extend plays. You know, they would be in 4th and long. They get Riley Bakigard would get a quick pass out to Trayvon Rodriguez, and he would extend the drive. They'd get the first down. So offensively, they can make drives happen. They just need to find a way to finish and put up points. And especially when you're in a game against not only a high-powered defense, but a fast-paced offense in Kindred, you want to be able to put up points, whether that's a field goal, touchdown, anything helps your team no matter what. Defensively, Oak Grove needs to find a way to just slow down Kindred's offense. As I talked with head coach Whitney last week, you know, you can't ever really hope to stop a team's game plan offensively. You can only ever hope to slow it down or contain it, and that's really what's going to be the key for the Grovers here, considering how big of a front line they have to face. You know, they need to just find a way to get through and apply pressure to Kindred's quarterback and just make them miss plays or miss opportunities.
Gave up runs of 86, 70, and 50 yards last week against Lisbon, did Oak Grove. It doesn't really get any easier when you're playing an offensive line like Kindred's. Their offensive line averages 6'2" in height and 237 in weight. That is a big team But that offensive line will not get a chance to start this game because the Vikings will be kicking off and receiving in the second half. So we will get a chance to look at that Grover's offense coming out onto the field. A couple notes about that Grover's offense as we get ready for kickoff. Was talking to the head coach, Melvin Whitney, before the game. He did say that Cody Card may or may not be available. Now, I watched him go through warm-ups. It didn't seem like there was anything hindering him during those warm-ups, but it is something to watch for also. As they were going through some of those first 10 plays, which they often practice on the field, I saw Trayvon Rodriguez playing a little quarterback wildcat, so something to watch for as we get ready. But first and foremost, the kickoff, as it is kicked away by Jorgen Swenson, taken by Schumacher on the far side, trying to bring it up the middle, makes one man miss, but is brought down by a host of Vikings at the 30-yard line, and that is where the Grover's offense will get things started. We look at the offensive line, left to right. You have Brady Baker, a sophomore at left tackle. Jose Alcavar, a sophomore at left guard. Dallas Sunderland, the center, a junior. Bjorn Eid, the right guard. And Joseph DeYoung will be starting at right tackle. And like we had mentioned, usually you would see Riley Bakagard at the quarterback position, but instead it is Trayvon Rodriguez starting in a shotgun formation, takes the snap, he rolls to his right and looks to be a run play, has some room out there, but is quickly brought down by a couple of Vikings. Right there is Caleb Klabundi for the tackle as Rodriguez takes it for a run of 4 on first down. So already Trayvon Rodriguez with that 4-yard rush will bring up a 2nd and 6. So Trayvon Rodriguez will be joined at the skill positions by Jake Wolf, a senior wideout, Spencer Schumacher, a junior wide receiver. You'll also see a little bit of Jesse Peterson, Andrew Green, and Mason Hemstad. It's Rodriguez again. Man in motion is Olsen as he hands it off to Olsen going over that left side. He's brought down in the backfield at the 31 for a loss of 3 on the play, bringing up a 3rd and 9.
And just a blown-up play in coverage. That defensive line for Kindred read that perfectly.
So now the defense for Kindred, the Vikings. A solid defense at that, a 37-0 win, including 4 interceptions against Central Cass last week, has put Trayvon Rodriguez and this Grover's offense off schedule a little bit as he's in shotgun. He takes a snap. He rolls to his right. He looks to his right. Looks to throw. A jump pass, and that one is picked off. It is picked off by the Vikings. Coming back with it is Trey Heinrich as he's shedding tackles down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. And Trey Heinrich, much like last week, gets an interception and returns it inside the 15 for the Vikings.
Yeah, Trayvon Rodriguez just trying to dump this one off and find somebody in the open, but just not able to connect with who he was looking at. And Kindred now, we're going to see that big front offensive line come out early.
So the Vikings, with incredible field position on their first drive of the game, Mcquillen, in a pistol formation with Heinrich right behind him, puts the man in motion. We'll hand it off to Heinrich, left side, big hole, past the 10, churning his legs to the 9, and a gain of 5 on first down for Heinrich. We'll look at the offense for the Vikings. As we said, Max Mcquillen. Quarterback Trey Heinrich. At running back, tight end will be Max Opgran. Jacob Hyatt will operate out of the fullback position. The wideouts will be Kalen Klabundi and Charlie Beaver. Your offensive line, left tackle Jack Packer, 6', 270 junior. Left guard Colin Lundy, 6'1", 200-pound senior. Mason Nipstead, the 6'4", 255-pound center. And we'll get to the other two positions in just a moment here on a 2nd and 4. Puts a man in motion, does Mcquillen, and he'll hand it off to Heinrich. Left side, now cuts it back to the middle, inside the 5, turning to the goal line, and he's in. An 8-yard touchdown run for Heinrich. And just like that, the Vikings are on the board with a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, Heinrich was just not going to be stopped on that run. He was carrying defenders with him as he walked right into the end zone.
So Heinrich, who came into this game with 474 yards rushing and 9 touchdowns, gets to double digits on the year. Now the kicking game for the Vikings. On for the extra point will be Jordan Sunram. Lefty kicker, it is up, it is good, and just like that, the Vikings take a 7-0 lead with 10:06 to go in the first quarter. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
Ide Bailey has served the Fargo-Moorhead area for over 100 years and is a top 25 CPA and business advisory firm. From healthcare consulting and technology innovation to investment knowledge and tax solutions, Ide Bailey can help you make business decisions with confidence. They'll be there for you every step of the way, from starting a business, career, or new initiative. Ide Bailey, what inspires you inspires us. For more information, go to idebailey.com.
Back here on yourliveevent.com at the Oak Grove campus. The Kindred Vikings take an early 7-0 lead over the Grovers. It's been all Train Heinrich. He had the pick and the 2 runs to put the Vikings in the end zone and give them that early lead. Jorgen Swenson to kick off from his own 40. Nice end-over-end kick. It is taken in by Schumacher. Then he drops it. Coming to the 15, trying to get more yards, but then is taken down very hard by Cameron Schwartzwalter at his own 15-yard line, and that is where the Grovers will start. And Schumacher, not the ideal retrieval of that ball to get the Grovers going. They'll push it up to the 17-yard line and a 1st and 10. So we'll see Trayvon Rodriguez again come out at that quarterback position. Ran once, handed off once, and then tried to throw it out to the right side as well. They're putting him on the move when they can. And we'll see if they continue. Puts a man in motion, takes the snap, fakes the handoffs, come again right side, looks to have some room. He does have some speed, and then is taken out of bounds by a couple of Vikings. Looks to be up to about the 19-yard line, so a gain of 2. Well, they'll say 4 here, so looks like be right at the 20-yard line. We'll say 3, gain of 3 on the play.
Yeah, definitely. Trayvon Rodriguez allows for the Grovers to play a little bit more trickery if they're going to look for him to pass and, run the ball. That's why we see him in these motions. Gives him options on where to go and what to do with the ball.
He's joined in the backfield by Jesse Peterson. Rodriguez takes the snap, and again, a run to the right. Has some blockers in front of him. Defense shooting in there and making the play. Brought down by the Vikings linebacker Ty Raisler. Looked to be a gain of 1 on that one, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 6. But you see the defense knifing in there for the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings have just found a way to blow up a couple of these big early plays for the Grovers. They're going to need to find a way to break something big in this game.
Vikings defense up front. You have Riley Sunram at left end, Jack Packer at nose guard, Colin Lundy at right end in that 3-4 defense. Get to more of them later as Rodriguez is in a pistol formation, takes a snap. He'll look to the left, and then the option pitch out to the left side to Peterson, looking for room, and there isn't much. Back to the line of scrimmage, I believe, on the carry. So no gain, and it'll bring up a 4th and 6 for the Grovers, who appear to be punting.
Yeah, the Vikings just read that option there really well and just found a way to wrap up Peterson for no gain.
So Riley Bakkegaard is out there right now. The punter typically for the Grovers is Luke Johnson, but it will be Bakkegaard punting for Oak Grove with Carter Schmitz back to receive for the Vikings. Bakkegaard, nice punt, almost tipped, and it hits just outside the 40. Gets a nice Oak Grove bounce into Kindred territory and will be downed at the 40-yard line. So a little bit of a flip of the field there for Bakkegaard and the Grovers, but as the Vikings take over at their own 40.
That was a close one, though. Bakkegaard was almost blocked on that punt. He was able to get it away just in time. And like you said, the ball just took a favorable bounce and flipped the field in the Grovers' favor. So we'll see how well their defense can hold up when the Vikings, we'll see how well the Grovers defense holds up when the Vikings aren't in the best field position they could be in.
Mcquillen, shotgun formation. 2 in the backfield with him. 2 out to the right, 1 to the left. He takes the snap. He rolls to his right. He looks that way. Now he comes back to the left. Has a man open. It is Lucas Klabundi who makes a diving catch down at the 30-yard line. So a gain of, we'll say 29 as they mark him down at the 31, but a little bit of a misdirection there for the Kindred offense as Lucas Klabundi was on the left side running free for the first down.
Yeah, and Grover's a little bit of miscommunication. Nobody had picked him up, and he was able to run free. And the Grover is going to have to bounce back.
Pistol formation, Mcquillen puts a man in motion, takes a snap, will hand it off to that man. That's Beaver, run around right side, has some room, has a Trey Heinrich block in front of him, cuts inside that block past the 20, and then is wrestled down at the 16-yard line. So a gain of 15 on the play, set it up by 1st and 10 and back in the red zone for the Vikings. So this offense just chunk play after chunk play for them. And this offensive line, as we had mentioned, very large, got through 3/5 of it. The right guard, Blake Hushka, another gentleman we did not mention, a 6', 215-pound junior. A young man to watch and listen for as the years go on. The right tackle is 6'4", 245-pound sophomore Riley Sunram. Handoff up the middle, flags fly. Very little room for Jorgen Swenson, maybe a yard, if that, as he was wrestled down at the 15. But we'll see what the flags are. And based on the reaction of the Grovers, it is on Kindred. And that is the call, a chop block on the Vikings. A personal foul penalty at that, so a 15-yard variety penalty for the Vikings. Now, we'll see how they play against a little bit of adversity as they're going to push the ball back to the 31-yard line and set up a 1st and 25. We've seen some chunk plays for them so far, 29 yards on this drive. We had a 15-yard carry by Charlie Beaver, but now a 1st and 25 for Max Mcquillen and this offense. Pistol formation, tight on the left side, 1 back in the backfield with Mcquillen. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, he rolls to his left, steps, fires, and it is juggled and then finally caught out there on the left side by Chase Miller. Boy, he bobbled that 3 or 4 times before finally bringing it down at the 14-yard line, so they get 15 yards plus 2 more back on that pass from Mcquillen to Miller.
Yeah, and Miller, like you said, bobbled that for a little while, like at least a good 2-3 seconds before he was finally able to get control and put the Vikings back up in more manageable territory with a 2nd and 9.
Pistol formation, Heinrich in the backfield with Mcquillen. Takes a snap, pitch to the left. McQuillen's got some room and some blockers out there. He follows that lead blocker, gets inside the 5, going for the pylon, down at the 1. Heinrich almost put it in for his 2nd touchdown of the game and 11th of the year, but as it is, a gain of 13 and a 1st down and goal at the 1. And like we said, this team had a 1st and 25, didn't even matter as they churn up 30 yards in 2 plays.
I mean, that's just efficiency. You can't you can't really find a way to slow that down if they're being that efficient on offense.
Pistol formation again. Fake the handoff. McQuillen looks, throws right side, wide open, but overshot. Mason Alamaris had him wide open. Busted coverage by the Grovers, but just overshot his target by a foot. And it'll bring up 2nd and goal. So we have seen some names, we've heard some names that probably wouldn't have thought of when you think of Charlie Beaver carrying the ball, Chase Miller making a big catch, Lucas Klabundi. Mcquillen fakes like it went over his head, and it is a pitch or is a direct snap to Jacob Hyatt, who takes it in from a yard out for the touchdown, and the Vikings go up. Another score, it's 13-0 with 5:11 to go in the 1st quarter.
And just beautiful trickery there. I pretty much lost track of who had the ball at that point. I thought it was going to go back over his head.
Jordan Sunram on to attempt the extra point. She's 1 for 1 on PATs, and this one is low and blocked. So make it 1 for 2, but still the Vikings put another ball in the end zone and take a 13-0 lead over the Grovers with 5:11 to go in the first. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
Every business has its special needs and its own unique set of challenges. That's why we treat your business just like ours, to make sure you are covered right. Hello, this is Shane with Irie Insurance, and our agents have seen it all, and one slip-up can take a small business years to recover from. That's why it's so important for a small business to work with an insurance company that can save them money but also make sure they are protected. If you own a small business, we would like to work for you. Go to IrieInsurance.com to find a local agent near you.
Back here at Oak Grove, Daniel Gutterson. Alongside me is Jacob Peralta.
Jerry Peralta.
Jerry Peralta. I don't know why I said. You know what? I was thinking about this, Jerry. I thought I was going to call you Jerry Garcia at some point throughout this broadcast, but instead I screwed up your first name, which...
That would have been, Jerry Garcia would have been a first. I don't think I've ever been called Jerry Garcia.
That would have been a first. Maybe Jacob's a first for you too, Jerry, as the Vikings kick off here. This one is taken by Trayvon Rodriguez, who has some room coming back and is taken out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So Trayvon Rodriguez with a very nice return, say up to the 34. Now you kind of understand and see why they want to put Trayvon and give him the ball as much as possible. With this offense, he does have some explosive capabilities, and hopefully Oak Grove and this offense can find it here with 5:03 to go in the first.
Well, and, looking back to last week, Trayvon Rodriguez was very explosive for the Oak Grove Grovers. He had six receptions for 106 yards. He is just a quick athlete who can make plays happen when he needs them to. And we have a timeout by the Grovers.
Yeah, Trayvon and Jesse Peterson a little bit confused on the call. So a timeout by Coach Whitney and the Grovers. Unfortunately, Cody Card, he is dressed here tonight, but just unable to go so far in this game. Like I said, Coach Whitney had mentioned that the possibility of him going was there. Most likely wouldn't be in the first half, potentially in the second. But Cody Card, even mentioned by head coach Matt Crate at Kindred, is somebody that does demand a lot of attention on the offensive side. Leads the team in tackles with 41 so far this year, and you know how important that senior is and how frustrating it is for him to have to be on the sidelines for this game. Would really like to be out there and would add an extra element to this offense. They're really trying to get to the outside and run away from the very strong up front defense of the Kindred Vikings. As Rodriguez is in a shotgun formation, Peterson to his left, takes the snap, will run to the left, looks to throw, no, he'll try to tuck, and then is put down to the ground. Nice tackle in the backfield by Tyler Raisler. The second big tackle for him, and a loss of 1 on the carry.
Raisler just blowing that play up. Nobody in front of him to stop him, and Trayvon Rodriguez had nowhere to go.
Linebacking position, you've heard plenty from Raisler. You'll also hear from Trey Heinrich. Chase Miller will come in and play some linebacker. Jacob Hyatt, Charlie Beaver will be out there from time to time. The secondary, Lucas Klabundi, Max Mcquillen, Jorgen Swenson, and then Caleb Klabundi as well, the listed starters on defense. Rodriguez in a shotgun formation. Peterson to his left, takes the snap, hands it off to Peterson running over that right side, looking for some blockers, and is unable to find them. Stacking up out there, Trey Heinrich putting the hard edge out there for the defense and stopping Peterson after a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, and going back to Cody Card, as you mentioned, he is that factor, that requires a lot of attention. He is so athletic in that way, and without him seeing him on the field, you don't get that kind of energy you would normally from your team.
So Rodriguez now in a 3rd and 10 situation. Shotgun, takes the snap, rolls to his left, looks to his left, gets the blocking, and now tries to turn it upfield, looking for some yards past the 40, and then is taken out of bounds on the Kindred sideline. Trying to see from the far side where they're going to place that ball at. It'll be down at the 41. So a gain of 7. Bring up a 4th and 3, but Coach Whitney saying we're going to have to punt. It is on our side of the 50 after the 7-yard run by Rodriguez. But again, you can see the elements of the offense that he can bring to this game. But unfortunately, a punt for Oak Grove and a 3-and-out.
Yeah, Rodriguez, setting up like he was going to pass, but just ultimately deciding to keep it and throw it.
Bakagard with the punt, end over end. It is muffed. It is muffed by Kindred, but then it is jumped on by Lucas Klabundi.
Great awareness by Klabundi, realizing his teammate had muffed the punt, not wanting to let Oak Grove get the turnover in the best field position they could have. Just diving on it, and Oak Grove will start at about the 38 or 37-yard line.
Looked like Kylan Swenson had muffed the punt coming up and trying to retrieve it, but nice job by Lucas Klabundi to jump on it for the Vikings as they come out with a 13-0 lead with 3:13 to go in the first quarter. Max Mcquillen, shotgun formation, takes a snap, looks to his left, pump fakes, now looks back over the middle, has a man wide open, and it is brought in by Carter Schmitz at the 10, touchdown! Vikings, a 63-yard strike from Mcquillen to Schmitz, and just like that, the Vikings up 19-0.
And just a beautiful overarching throw by Mcquillen. Pump faked a couple times, ultimately finding who he wanted to go to, and just hit with the beautiful overarching pass, just hit his man in stride.
So Schmitz with the touchdown as Jordan Swenson will come on to attempt the extra point, Sunram. Kick is up, and this one is good. 20-0 our score with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Vikings with a big lead early. You're watching.
Make your stop before or after the game at the Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota. Stop out throughout the week for mouth-watering lunch specials weekdays and mark Friday nights down on the calendar for prime rib, ribeye steak, or some walleye at the Knickerbocker. For more information or to find out about daily specials, give the Knickerbocker a like on Facebook by searching the Knickerbocker. Great food and good people. You can find it all at the Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota.
Welcome back to YourLiveEvent.com. A big thank you to our sponsors, among them the Sunderland Group. Sunderland Group is your leader in health and wealth in the insurance business. Visit them today at sunderlandgroup.com. Also to Ide Bailey, from healthcare consulting and technology innovation to investment knowledge and tax solutions, Ide Bailey can help you make business decisions with confidence. At Ide Bailey, what inspires you inspires us. Oak Grove needing a little inspiration as well, down 20-0. Schumacher to retrieve the kick. Coming up, looking for some room in the middle. Now going to his right, trying to break some tackles, is brought down past the 30 to the 31-yard line, and that is where the Grovers will start from. This offense with Rodriguez hopefully looking to get things going, but we have a couple of Vikings down on the play. So they look to get back up, and we'll take this opportunity now to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll try to get some numbers and names for you. You're watching North Dakota High School football on YourLiveEvent.com.
MLGC offers ultra-high-speed broadband, streaming TV, telephone, advanced business services, and commercial-grade video surveillance services. MLGC has a goal to continue to deliver future technologies that make rural communities in North Dakota vibrant places in which to live and do business in. They're your local provider who prides itself on its unmatched customer service with a small-town touch. MLGC has offices in Enderlin, Cooperstown, and Kindred. For more info, go to mlgc.com.
Back here on the YourLiveEvent.com, Jerry Peralta, Daniel Gunnarsson with you. 2:52 to go in the first quarter, 20-0. Kindred Vikings, Connor Rowland and Jack Olson, the individuals who were a little slow to get up on that play, but they are able to walk off on their own power over to the Kindred sideline. Meanwhile, the Grovers will start from their own 31-yard line, trailing 20-0. Trayvon Rodriguez starting at quarterback. And the offense has struggled to find their footing so far. Rodriguez in a shotgun formation. Take the snap, roll to his left, look to his left to pass, looks, tries to set up, and now will try to dart back to his right, has some room, but then is taken out hard from behind defensively. Riley Sunram with the big hit.
Sunram chased Rodriguez down, and right as Rodriguez decided he was going to keep it himself, just caught him from behind and took him down with some authority.
So Rodriguez, a little bit more likely to run than pass. Tried to do so there. Gain of 1, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9 from the Oak Grove 32. Peterson joins him in the backfield. Now putting a man in motion, and he'll hand it off to that man, and cutting up the middle is Griffin Olson down to the 35-yard line, and a gain of 3, sending it up a 3rd and 6. So we've heard from Olson, we've heard from Rodriguez, we've heard from Jesse Peterson. One individual that we have not heard from, Andrew Green, the junior, sometimes join Rodriguez in the backfield. Right now, though, the situation on a 3rd and 6 from the 35 calls for Oak Grove to spread things out. So it'll be Rodriguez, 4 wide, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Peterson in the backfield. Takes the snap, looks to the right. It'll be an option pitch to Peterson, who gets past the 35, but no more, says Trey Heinrich. And he takes him down after a gain of 2 up to the 37-yard line. And it'll bring up a 4th and 4. And in other situations, you might think here, down 20-0 with a minute to go in the first quarter, you might be a little crazy to go for it. I don't think Oak Grove will do such a thing, but
well, and
you've seen, Jerry, just to kind of finish that thought, you've seen a lot of 4th, and it feels like manageable, and I believe in now day and age, you feel like a lot of teams should be going for it on 4th down, but the position of the field is what makes it so just frustrating for these Grovers, as Bakagard will take the snap. Gets away a nice clean punt, one of his best, as this one goes deep into Kindred territory. They're going to hand it off to the right side. Taking it up the left side, I should say, is Carter Schmitz, who then is driven down. Pardon me, Charlie Beaver is driven down up to the 39-yard line.
Schumacher with the great tackling. Going back to your point there on these 4th and manageables, yeah, that is one thing that has just Oak Grove has not been able to capitalize on with these 4th and manageables is their field position, and with the amount of struggles they have been having moving the ball just as is, it almost isn't worth the risk, most of the time in your own field, in your own territory.
4 straight 3-and-outs for the Grovers as Kindred takes over, pistol formation. Mcquillen will hand it off to Heinrich, left side, breaks a couple arm tackles, carrying Oak Grove defenders past the 45 to the 46. Gain of 7 on that play. And bring up a 2nd and 3 and the end of the first quarter. 20-0 is our score. Kindred has scored every time they have had the ball on offense. Oak Grove has struggled to find their footing. That is the end of one here from Oak Grove. Your score, Kindred 20, Grovers nothing. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
At Oak Grove Lutheran School, your student will receive an education focused on strong academics, faith formation, and a heart for service. Oak Grove challenges students to discover their potential and create a better world. From sports, music, theater, and robotics, students will find a place to grow their talents. The mission of Oak Grove Lutheran School is to express God's love by nurturing students for academic achievement, lifelong Christian commitment, and loving service throughout the world. Learn more at oakgrovelutheran.com.
Back here at on yourliveevent.com, Daniel Gunnarsson with Jerry Peralta, the Oak Grove Grovers and the Kindred Vikings from the beautiful campus of the Oak Grove Lutheran Schools. Kindred's offense has been a picture of near perfection throughout this game. I think of the personal foul penalty that was called because of the chop block. Otherwise, Kindred has just been moving forward, scoring on all 3 possessions. Meanwhile, Oak Grove has yet to even get a first down. They've had 4 straight 3-and-outs. A frustrating start to this one, and now Kindred taking over with that 20-0 lead. A 2nd and 3 here to start the second quarter. Mcquillen, pistol formation, takes the snap, will pitch it to the left, taking it over to that left side, Kindred, and it is wrestled down. Nice play out there by Jesse Peterson. With the carry was Kylan Swenson, and a no gain on the play, so now Oak Grove has an opportunity to get the defense off the field if they can hold here on this 3rd and 4.
Yeah, an almost complete turnaround for Oak Grove. They managed to put Kindred on one of their very first and few third down plays.
3rd and 3, I apologize, is the down and distance for Mcquillen and the Kindred offense. Pistol formation, Hyatt moves slightly to his right. Now he puts Beaver in motion. He's in the backfield. Fake to him. Mcquillen right up the left side. Has some blockers. Shedding tackles. Getting past midfield to the 45, 44-yard line. So a gain of 10 when they needed 3 for Max Mcquillen. Max Mcquillen, by the way, he's not small. 6'5", 190-pound senior, has a beautiful arm, which we saw on the 63-yard touchdown to Schmitz earlier in the first quarter. Carter Schmitz, that is, and now seeing a little bit of his running ability. And that's just something you need, a quarterback that's what you would assume, big, 6'5", but to be able to see over this large offensive line of the Vikings, Mcquillen fits the bill, takes the snap at a pistol formation, fakes to Heinrich, looks to his right, throws a beautiful ball to his right, up and out of the reach of Lucas Klabundi. Good coverage out there by Riley Bakagard as that one falls incomplete. Only the 2nd incompletion for Max Mcquillen on the night. So far, he is 3 of 5 for 109 yards and a touchdown strike. 2nd and 10 for the Vikings from the Oak Grove 44.
3 of 5 for over 100 yards already. I mean, Max Mcquillen kind of ask for better production from your quarterback, and like you said, we have seen him throw the ball perfectly many times throughout this game.
Puts the man in motion, will hand it off to Beaver, who's going to that right side. Has a host of Vikings blockers just cleaning up. Grover's in front of him as Beaver gets past the 35 to the 34-yard line. Needed to get to that yardage for a first down. And do they give it to him? We will see as they turn around, and they do. No, they're going to call it a 3rd down. Nope, they'll give him the first down, so a gain of 10 for Beaver. And a first down.
It was a very close one, exactly on the line. It really could have gone either way on if Kindred was going to be on inches or a first down.
Mcquillen again, pistol formation. Hyatt and Heinrich in the backfield with him. Takes a snap. No, it'll go right to Hyatt. It goes over the left guard, down past the 35, and then is pushed to the ground at the 27-yard line and a gain of 7.
Second time we've seen that trick play where you would see Mcquillen jump up like the ball's going over his head, and the ball gets sent over to Jack Haidt.
Hyatt with 8 yards on 2 carries, a touchdown, the second score of the game, which was a 1-yard carry up the middle for a touchdown, which made it 13-0 at the time. Vikings will spread them out. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Heinrich in the backfield with Mcquillen. And now we're going to get another timeout for Oak Grove, their 2nd of this half. They'll have 1 left. 9:03 to go in the first half. Your score, Kindred 20, Oak Grove nothing. You're watching North Dakota High School football on YourLiveEvent.com.
At Moorhead Dental Associates, they have a vision to provide comprehensive dentistry by using state-of-the-art technology for their valued patients. They treat their patients as friends and strive to educate on oral health issues in a clean, relaxed environment. Moorhead Dental Associates offers professional dental care to individuals in Moorhead, Fargo, and surrounding areas. Request an appointment today at moorheaddentalassociates.com or call 218-236-5466.
Back here on yourliveevent.com, Kindred leads Fargo Oak Grove in this 11-man Class B Southeast Division matchup 20-0. The Vikings atop the Southeast standings with a 4-1 overall record, 3-0 in conference play. Right there with them is Lisbon, 4-1, 3-0 in conference play as well. Lisbon has a big game tonight. We'll find out as much as we can as that one goes on. Here, though, in Fargo, Mcquillen has a blitz coming at him. He evades Peterson, throws to his right, wide open in the end zone was his target, Carter Schmitz, but he overthrew him. But a good blitz call there by the defense of Oak Grove. Jesse Peterson had an opportunity, but Mcquillen at 6'5", he is fleet of foot, did a nice move to the right to evade the pressure, overshoots Schmitz, and will bring up a 3rd and call it 4 here. Pardon me, 3rd and 3 from the 26 for the Vikings.
Yeah, only the second third down we've seen for Kindred, and they have just found ways to get chunk plays when they need to most.
Mcquillen in the backfield, takes a snap, trying to get to that first down, is gathered by a host of Grovers. It's going to be close. He was right at the 25-yard line, and he needed to get past the 25 to the 24 and was unable to. Only a gain of 1 for Mcquillen, and it will bring up a 4th, and we'll say about a yard, maybe 2 for the Vikings. So we'll see what Matt Crane, head coach of Kindred, decides to do here in terms of play call. I think the decision is fairly easy in terms of going for it or not. And again, that formation, Mcquillen in the backfield, Hyatt in front of him, Heinrich behind him. And it'll be a pitch to Mcquillen. Heinrich is unable to get the first down as the Vikings offense is unable to stop this Oak Grove defense up front, and first to meet him was Bjorn Eid, the defensive lineman, the senior, making a big stop in the backfield, a loss of 1, and a turnover on downs with 8:07 to go in the second quarter.
And that's exactly what you want if you're Oak Grove. You turn the tides, shift momentum in your favor, and now we get to see if their offense can turn this around.
Rodriguez and the Oak Grove offense back out. So Rodriguez in a pistol formation. Peterson behind him. Takes a snap. Will hand it off to Peterson, who's still churning, still trying to get yards. He is wrapped up and rodeoed down in after a couple yards by Charlie Beaver. They gave him forward momentum to about the 32-yard line, so we'll give it a gain of 6 on the play.
Gain of 5 officially.
By Peterson to the 32.
And one of the very few times we've seen Peterson run the ball today, he only got the ball once, handed off to him one time last week, and that he put up the lone score against Lisbon on a 1-yard run.
Rodriguez, shotgun formation. He will hand it off to Peterson, trying to go around that right end, but no doing defensively on that outside. Nice stop by Mason Nipstead, one of the linemen for the Vikings, and a loss of 4 will bring up a 3rd and 9.
Not the way you want that run to go if you're Oak Grove. Jesse Peterson picks up a good chunk play on first down. Try to go back to him, but Kindred reads the play very well, and you end up going back 4 yards.
So a big 3rd and 9 here for the Grovers. They had momentum with the stop of Heinrich on a 4th and 1. Can they get their first down of the game as Rodriguez rolls to his right? He's looking, tries to evade a sack, does. Now he's trying to pick his way towards the first down as he lunges forward to the 35-yard line. So a gain of 7 on a 3rd and 9, but just not quite close enough for the Grovers to feel comfortable going for it. So he gave a great effort, just a little bit short on the run. And here we go again, Bakkegaard to punt, and it is the 5th straight 4 and out for the Vikings, or pardon me, for the Grovers, but we are going to get a timeout from Kindred before the punt. A little bit of confusion as there's a lot of back and forth with substitutions. And again, we talked about this, Jerry. The idea of going for it on 4th down, and if there was ever a chance for momentum, it would have been here for Oak Grove. Get a first down. Maybe you can see some things going. But 5:50 to go, just the field position. If they could just try and maybe even get it closer to the 50, that might be something you could see potentially an opportunity for them to do something with. But when you're on your own 35, and this Kindred offense has just been going up and down the field, you got to play a field position game. I understand where Coach Whitney is coming from here, but at some point that may have to change.
Yeah, and especially considering if they want to have a chance to claw their way back. I mean, 4th and 3, very manageable. Your Trayvon Rodriguez and Jesse Peterson have managed to pick up at least 4 yards on every other run they do. So if you can pick up that 4 yards, that gives you a first down and gives you a chance to claw your way back. But I also see where Melvin Whitney's coming from. You don't want to risk in your own territory, especially with how well Kindred's offense has been playing.
Bakkegaard kicks it to Beaver and Schmitz. Schmitz comes up with it, churning yards to the 49-yard line of Oak Grove. So a solid return of about 11 yards for Schmitz as he fielded it on the run and gives Kindred great field position to start this possession with 5:39 to go in the first half. Kindred has a 20-0 lead on the Grovers. Last possession for Kindred, they were stopped on a 4th and 1 as a Heinrich run was snuffed out by the Oak Grove defense. There was Bjorn Eide for the Grovers, and we'll see if this defense of Oak Grove can come up strong again. Mcquillen, pistol formation, takes the snap, hands off Heinrich, left side, big hole, past the 45 to the 40, dragging defenders with him past the 35 to the 34-yard line, and a gain of 15 for Trey Heinrich. He is just so strong.
Yeah, Heinrich just showing off his strength. He's carrying defenders with him as he churns along for extra yards. On his first touchdown we saw earlier, the very first one in this game, Heinrich was carrying defenders on his back as he walked into the end zone. He's just doing that again right now.
1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Again, that pistol formation with Jacob Hyatt, the fullback, in front of Mcquillen. It will be a handoff to Heinrich over the right side as he gets to the 30-yard line and a gain of 4 on first down. Heinrich now with 7 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown tonight. Mentioned he came into the game with 9 touchdowns on the ground so far this year. He also has 474 yards this season on 71 carries. He averages about 94, almost 95 yards a game. He's well over halfway to that mark. Mcquillen, handoff left side. This time, churning his way and finding yardage is Jorgen Swenson as he gets the ball all the way up to the 21-yard line and a gain of 9 for Jorgen Swenson. His first carry of the game. So 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the 20. Give him a gain of 10 on that one. Mcquillen, Heinrich in the backfield with them, pistol formation. Takes the snap and will fake the handoff. So play action, rolls to his right. He's looking, he's pointing, he's directing traffic. But instead, he's directed to the ground. A big sack out there by Andrew Green at the 30-yard line, but we do have a flag on the play. So let's get that call.
Flag on the play. And that was all the way back near the offense, near the line of scrimmage. So this may be a holding call against Kindred. And going back, or
So they marked him down at the 29. Mcquillen got a little, I think, risky there instead of trying to throw it away, which is probably one of those things that comes last when you are coaching quarterbacks at this age. You can't make every play. You're not in the backyard.
And it is a hold against Kindred.
Now, if I was Oak Grove, I probably would decline this because it would bring up a second and.
Well, the ball is still getting moved back from where the sack happened, so it looks like they're just adding on to that. So,
well, that
first and a mile here.
That is interesting to me because
so
they still have the first down marker up, and they put the ball back at the 44-yard line. So really trying to understand that we have a 1st and 34. So they accepted the sack, and then they gave him the hold on top of it. A very interesting call, to say the least, as McQuillen's in the backfield. He throws it out to left to Heinrich, who goes up the left side, ripping through arm tackles of the Grovers back to the 29, which is where McQuillen was actually sacked beforehand.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm still confused on how that last was called, because you get the sack, you could decline it, which the play stands as is, but they added the hold on top of it, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Absolutely. I've not seen anything like that before. As it is, a gain of 24. Now we have a timeout. Kindred, their second of the half. So now both teams have a timeout left. The score stands 20-0. Kindred with the lead and 3:03 to go in this first half. Jerry, as we were talking about a strange play that happened beforehand, we'll just bring it back and kind of break it down so we can set up where we're at now. Max McQuillen had rolled out to his right and was sacked at the 29. A flag was on the opposite side of the play. The umpiring crew had called a hold. Now, typically what we would see in something like this is, would you accept the hold, which happened during the course of the play? Would you accept the results of the play?
Yeah.
If the results of the play are in your favor as a defense, you typically decline unless it's an incompletion. But in this case, it was a 9-yard sack for a loss. But instead of saying, all right, we'll set up a 2nd and 19, which is where we're at now, the referee said the sack stands and we're going to move it back 10 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be something to check into the rule book, because I don't know how that's initially supposed to go.
Now, the only thing I could think of here, Jerry, is because we don't have replay, and we may have missed the call. It could have been a personal foul. And in that instance, that could have been what happened. But even there, I thought, in my impression, and I believe that's what Coach Whitney's trying to get an explanation of. Let's say it was a personal foul, and they bring him back 15 yards from the play, which makes a little bit more sense. The down and distance should have been a 2nd down if the personal foul happened after the play or after the conclusion of the play.
Yeah.
So I believe that might be more where Coach Whitney is coming from, trying to get an explanation from the head referee right now.
Well, and I believe that's probably why head coach Kane called the timeout for Kindred, is maybe to try and get an explanation, because he might have been just as baffled as we are.
He may have thought it was 3rd down. I don't think Coach Whitney understands how they made that call, because he is upset on the sideline, throwing his hands up, and now I believe we're going to have a false start on Kindred, as you had Beaver in motion, and that's what the call is. So Kindred right now having some issues. First 3 drives of this game, all in the first quarter, was up and down the field, score. Now you had a 4th and 1 stop, and now we've seen some issues from a penalty side of things. Getting sloppy now for the Vikings, although we just hit under the 3-minute mark. It's a 2nd and 24 for McQuillen and this Vikings offense. Beaver in motion, goes behind the running back. Now McQuillen again up that left side, has a ton of room and a ton of blockers in front of him, just running over defenders with that 6'5 frame past the 15 to the 14-yard line, a gain of 20. It'll set up a 3rd and 4.
And I mean, McQuillen, he is just his size just allows him to run over a couple of Grover defenders. And making the Grovers have to swarm him and corral him in order to bring him down. He is dragging defenders with him.
They marked him down at the 15, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Vikings. McQuillen pistol formation with Swenson in the backfield with him again. Beaver in motion. He'll hand off left side. Swenson, who is ripped down. A nice tackle on the interior by Joseph DeYoung. Andrew Moseng with the tackle. And I believe he got 1 yard on the play, did Swenson, so it'll bring up a 4th and 4 for the Vikings. Again, another 4th down possession play coming up for Kindred. They were unsuccessful on their last one. Swenson in the backfield with Mcquillen in a shotgun formation. He's got 3 to his right, 1 to his left. Big play coming. Mcquillen looks left, has pressure from that side, then rolls right, gets past one defender, spins inside the 10, runs over another one, passed into the end zone. Touchdown, Max Mcquillen on a beautiful 14-yard scamper for the senior quarterback, and it puts the Vikings up 26-0.
Max Mcquillen just making some great moves there, spinning out of one tackle, juking out another defender. He was not going to get stopped on his way into the end zone.
That spin move was a thing of beauty, as Jordan Sunram is on for the extra point. High snap, but brought down beautifully as Sunram puts it through the uprights. And good. 27-0 your score with 1 minute, 10 seconds to go in the first half. The Vikings lead Oak Grove 27-0. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical North Dakota high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the North Dakota High School Activities Association and the North Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back here on yourliveevent.com. Want to make sure and thank our great sponsors, the Don Bauer Family Dentistry. The team at Don Bauer Family Dentistry offers services in general dentistry, orthodontics, and cosmetic dentistry. Don Bauer Family Dentistry, they love to see your smile. Kickoff from Swenson, taken deep by Jake Wolf up the near sideline, and then is ripped down right there after about a 2-yard gain by Kylan Swenson. And the Grovers will begin with the ball at the 24-yard line, and Rodriguez and this offense trotting out there. So with 1:04 left, both teams only have one timeout each remaining in the first half. If you're Oak Grove, what are you looking to do here?
Yeah, I mean, you're either looking to run out the clock to not give Kindred another chance with the ball, or I would say just run out the clock. If you're Oak Grove, offensively you're struggling. If you can at least prevent Kindred from getting the ball once again and putting up another point, you set yourself up for success coming out of halftime.
Trayvon Rodriguez has other ideas as he takes the ball over that left side past the 35-yard line, right to it, but that's a first down, gain of 11 on 1st and 10 for the Grovers in their first down of the game with 55 seconds to go in the first half.
And that'll I believe Trayvon Rodriguez was tackled out of bounds, so the clock stops as it is. So Rodriguez, knowing the situation, getting out of bounds when he needs to, stopping the clock gives the Grovers another chance gets another first down, or their first down of the game, I should say.
Shotgun formation. Rodriguez. It's a man in motion, takes a snap. No, the ball is popped out of his hands, and he has to fall on it back at the 29-yard line. Attempting to hand it off to Griffin Olsen, who was in motion left to right. Came out of his hands, and unfortunately for the Grovers, the momentum they gained on the first play negated with that 5-yard loss back to the 30-yard line as the clock runs with 30 seconds to go in the first half. And I think, Jerry, back to what you had said originally, trying to make sure and not give Kindred another opportunity here. Kindred does have the one timeout left, but Oak Grove is going to try and milk this clock as much as they can. Rodriguez will take the snap. This time they do hand it off to Olsen over that right side. Looking for some room, is forced down hard past the 30 up to the 31-yard line, a gain of 1. Kindred will not call their final timeout. They will let that clock go to 0-0. and that will mark the end of the first half, one dominated by the Kindred Vikings as they lead at the break 27-0 over Oak Grove. When we come back, we'll go over some halftime stats and our thoughts, maybe try to get some scores from some out-of-town scoreboards. You're watching YourLiveEvent.com.
Going to NDSCS, I found out way more than just like sports. I met a lot of people just on my floor, and then different activities you could go to that were on campus. I for sure will look back at all the memories and love it. My name is Grace, and I'm here for my future.
First week of college, I can't tell you how many friends I've made. It's a family, you know what I mean? Like every time I go to a meeting, like everyone knows my name. They're always kind to me. I love it. I can't explain how much I love it here. My name is Junior, and I'm here for my future.
If you're in need of Minnesota and or North Dakota high school athletics coverage, head to YourLiveEvent.com so you don't miss out on moments like these.
Straight up the middle, bounces, he's open, he's down the field, touchdown, Nuggets!
Go to our YouTube page at Your Live Event, powered by Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated.
Intercepted!
Follow us on Twitter at YourLiveEvent1 and on Facebook at Your Live Event.
At Oak Grove Lutheran School, your student will receive an education focused on strong academics, faith formation, and a heart for service. Oak Grove challenges students to discover their potential and create a better world. From sports, music, theater, and robotics, students will find a place to grow their talents. The mission of Oak Grove Lutheran School is to express God's love by nurturing students for academic achievement, lifelong Christian commitment, and loving service throughout the world. Learn more at oakgrovelutheran.com.
If you want help from a firm who has integrity, respect, strives for excellence, and is interested in the benefit of the community, then look no further than Onstead Twitchell Attorneys. Our team of attorneys are dedicated and talented professionals who are committed to improving the lives of their clients and providing custom legal solutions with integrity and excellence. We have offices in West Fargo, Hillsborough, and Castleton, or visit our website at www.onsteadlaw.com.
Degelman does put the effort and time into their employees by training them.
It's something that you think you couldn't do, but you can actually do it because you were trained to do it.
Once I got my confidence up, now I just feel pride.
I'm very proud to be leading the team that builds the toughest product in the manufacturing and agricultural industry.
Back here on YourLiveEvent.com. I want to thank our sponsors giving us the opportunity to bring you North Dakota high school football. Tonight we're from Fargo Oak Grove campus, where the Kindred Vikings lead the Oak Grove Grovers 27-0 at the half. As I said, thank you to our sponsors, among them Knickerbocker. Stop out throughout the week for mouth-watering lunch specials weekdays at the Knickerbocker, or check out their Friday nights for prime rib, ribeye, steaks, and walleye dinner. The Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota. 27-0 Kindred, and just to look back at some of those drives for the Vikings in that first quarter, it was all Kindred. They were up and down the field easily against this Grovers defense, scoring on all three of those first quarter possessions. It started out after a Trey Heinrich interception of Trayvon Rodriguez. He ran it in from 8 yards out. Extra point was good, made it 7-0. About 5 minutes later, it was Jacob Hyatt from the 1 yard line. The point after was blocked. It was 13-0 at that point. Then we got to see Max Mcquillen and his arm as he showed off the type of strength that he has with a 63-yard bomb to Carter Schmitz for a touchdown with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Boy, at that point it felt like Oak Grove was about to get run over, but the defense held strong on a 4th and 1 against Trey Heinrich, knocking him back, had an opportunity to create some momentum, and unfortunately could not do much with that. They had to punt it back to Kindred, which gave them another opportunity to score in one of the oddest drives that we have seen in recent memory. A sack of Max Mcquillen plus a penalty set up a 1st and 34 instead of a 2nd and 34. It did not matter to the Vikings as they were able to capitalize on that drive with 1:10 left to go in the first half. A Max Mcquillen 14-yard touchdown scamper that included somebody going into the spin cycle, and it was 27-0 Kindred, and that's where we stand at this moment. Max Mcquillen so far in tonight's game, 6 for 4 for 124 yards and a touchdown. Trey Heinrich, 7 carries, 52 yards, a touchdown for him. Max Mcquillen, how about his rushing stats? 5 carries for 35 yards and a touchdown there. Of his 4 completions, they have all gone to different receivers. Trey Heinrich, Lucas Klabundi, Chase Miller, and Carter Schmitz, all with receptions, all receptions of 17 yards or more for the receivers. For the Grovers, it has been a struggle offensively. Trayvon Rodriguez, the starting quarterback, has been the man offensively for this team. He has 9 carries for 27 yards. We've seen a little bit of Jesse Peterson as well, as he has 4 carries for 2 yards, and Griffin Olsen, 4 carries for 3 yards. Rodriguez has only attempted 1 pass, and it was intercepted by Heinrich. Since then, it has been the Oak Grove offense trying to move the ball on the ground. They have 1 first down so far, and that came with about 50 seconds to go in the first half. A Trayvon Rodriguez 11-yard run. Those are the halftime stats. Your score, again, 27-0. Kindred with the lead over the Grovers. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jerry Peralta has some scores from around the state, and you'll want to stay tuned because we have an update from the Central Cass Lisbon game. You're going to be surprised. You are watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
Sunderland Group is your leader in health and wealth, located in Fargo. Sunderland Group was established in 1986 and is one of the premier marketing organizations in the insurance business. Your success is important to the folks at Sunderland Group and is why they continue to develop cutting-edge solutions that assist in growth opportunities. They're a proud supporter of Oak Grove and Grover Athletics. For more information, visit sunderlandgroup.com. That's sunderlandgroup.com.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
Back here on yourliveevent.com, Dale Gutterson alongside me is Jerry Peralta. And Jerry does have some updates from around the state, other games happening on yourliveevent.com broadcast. Jerry, let's hear some of those updates.
Yeah, definitely. Starting with some Region 2 9-man football. Finley Sharon Hope Page taking on Hatton Northwood. And they are leading at halftime 16-6 in favor. Finley Sharon Hope Page up. Hillsborough Central Valley also playing tonight against Carrington. They're up 28-0 at halftime. West Fargo and Fargo South in some EDC football. West Fargo leads 13-0 at half. Central Cass and Lisbon, as Daniel mentioned, this is a game of big implications as we are currently Kindred, Lisbon, and Central Cass are tied for that #1 seed in the southeast region. Southeast region in Class B for 11-man football. And Central Cass currently leading Lisbon at halftime 28-8. Central Cass, big turnaround that we saw from last week where Central Cass just really couldn't get it together against Kindred.
Yeah, that was a tough one last week for the Squirrels, something that you didn't expect. The Squirrels were one of the top 2 teams in state when it came to 11-man B. Kindred, though, right up there at this time based off that victory over the Squirrels. And Lisbon, again, right there with everybody. All three teams with 4-1 overall records. Lisbon and Kindred are the only two undefeated in the division so far, and if things hold true out in Castleton, we may have just one team undefeated, and that could be the Vikings. We have a whole nother half of football coming up, though, Jerry, between Kindred and Oak Grove. What are you going to be looking for in the second half from both teams?
Well, you're going to be looking for Oak Grove to maybe try and switch up their game plan. Maybe we'll see Riley Bakigard back in at quarterback for the Grovers, or maybe we'll see some different formations from Oak Grove. They've really run the same formation throughout this entire game and has revolved around Trayvon Rodriguez using his legs to make something develop. So look for a potential change in formation. Defensively for Oak Grove, I think towards the end of that first half in the second quarter, when they made the big stop when they needed to on that fourth down, they're going to look to bring more pressure in as they had blown up a couple plays from Kindred. If you're Kindred, it's going to be more of the same. You really just want your offense to keep doing what they've been doing, making these big chunk plays, even though there was a bit of miscommunications on that very last drive, which saw them back at the longest 1st and 34. Kindred's going to offensively really is just going to stick to what they have been doing, which has worked so well, which has been quick runs, long passes, get big chunk plays when you need to. And defensively, they're going to keep doing what they've done against Oak Grove and applying the pressure to Trayvon Rodriguez, not letting him do anything with his legs or through the air. And Kindred's looking to just keep doing what they've done in that first half.
It'll be interesting to see what the plan offensively is for the Grovers. Do they stay with Trayvon Rodriguez? We do see Riley Bakigard warming up right now in front of us with the quarterback, who was the scheduled starting quarterback when the 2-deep was supplied, but maybe trying to change things up. You never know in terms of strategy for this one. Well, halftime here from Oak Grove. When we come back, it'll be kickoff of the second half. Your score, Kindred 27, Oak Grove nothing. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
Daniel Gutterson and Jerry Peralta back with you on the campus of Oak Grove Lutheran School in North Fargo. 27-0 is our score. Kindred with the lead as we get ready for the second half of action. The Vikings kicked off to begin this game, so they will receive to start the second half. And really, it is going to be of the utmost importance for a couple of reasons that Oak Grove get a stop right away, Jerry. And chief among them, obviously, you're already down 27-0. You can ill afford to go down by any more. But the second thing I think of is the running clock that could come into play once a team gets above 30 or more points in the lead. So Oak Grove has a couple things staring at them as they begin this second half.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, they are going to want to make a big stop here on this first drive coming out of the second half. If they can do that, they keep themselves within this game, they bring out their offense and maybe can try to set something up, down the line and maybe put up some points to bring themselves back a little bit into this game.
Oak Grove kick it off will be Luke Johnson. We have a handful of Vikings back to receive, including Charlie Beaver, Lucas Klabundi, and Owen Hoyme.
For the Grovers.
Exciting second half, and I would be surprised if Kindred wasn't aware of what was going on in Castleton. It is a pretty packed sideline across the way, full of Kindred fans, and Jerry was able to pull up that score rather quickly on yourliveevent.com. I'd be surprised if somebody didn't have it over there, as it has a line drive kick right into the arms of Chase Miller, who just dives on it up at the 39-yard line, and that is where this Vikings offense will start with Max Mcquillen, and what a night so far for Mcquillen. 129 yards to the air with a score. He has 35 yards on the ground with a score. You know, the story coming into this, for me especially, was Trey Heinrich, but Mcquillen, you can't really overstate what he means to this team. Came in with 739 yards to the air, 8 touchdowns, completing 58% of his passes as he starts this drive out in a shotgun. And now we have a flag and a false start on Kindred. And I'm not sure, it was thrown by the far line jump, if it was Mason Almaris who was in motion or Lucas Klabundi.
They'll probably get Almaris on the false start as he was in motion, maybe stepped too far over the line. And we're going to set them back 5 more yards before we've even had our first play of the second half.
So Almaris in motion again. Mcquillen lets him pass, takes the snap, looks to his right, pressure up the middle, now looks over the middle, and it is caught by Klabundi as he gets past the 40. Evades one defender, he's down the sidelines at the 25-20, cuts back in, now back out, and gets into the end zone for a touchdown.
And setting them back 5 yards appeared to do nothing as Mcquillen just finds his man, and he broke free, and nobody was going to stop him.
66 yards on the strike to Lucas Klabundi, who was weaving in and out of traffic down the field. And boy, first play of the second half for the Vikings. They are not messing around.
No, they are not.
So Sunram on to attempt the extra point, and it is up and good. Make it 34-0 with 11:04 to go in this second half. Vikings over the Grovers. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
The Ada EDA is committed to improving the quality of life for Ada residents by providing assistance to new and small businesses, developing and assisting with affordable housing to provide economic growth in our community, and including building incentives with affordable lots in great locations with amenities, and also city property tax abatement and free city utilities. For information, contact City of Ada 784-5522 or visit the City of Ada website adamn.gov.
Back here on yourliveevent.com, the Kindred Vikings, 1 play and a score, a 66-yard pass from Mcquillen to Lucas Klabundi. And it puts the Vikings up 34-0 with 11:04 to go in the third quarter even. As the kickoff is back, Rodriguez receives it at his 16. Up the near sideline, now will try to run away from Kindred defenders. Breaks through some tackles up to the 35-yard line, and a nice return by Rodriguez for the Grovers. That's where the offense will take over from. As we see Rodriguez going back out there to play quarterback.
So they're going to keep Rodriguez out there in the quarterback position on this offense. Will we see a different formation with Rodriguez lined up and try to set something else up? It looks like we will. It's a 3-man backfield.
Yeah, back there with him, you have Jesse Peterson and I believe Griffin Olsen, and it will be Olsen who takes it off that right side, trying to cut it up. Runs over a Kindred defender, and then it is taken down up at the 38-yard line. So a gain of 3 for Griffin Olsen, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 7. So you're right, Jerry, a different formation shown by the Grovers on that play with Olsen and Peterson in the backfield with him. And we've seen Olsen get more touches as this game has gone along, and he does have a certain burst to him, and we will see if the inclusion of some backs in the offense will start to move the ball downfield a little bit. As you said, they've been able to move the ball forward. There haven't been a lot of tackles for loss for Rodriguez and crew as he's in shotgun again. Olsen and Peterson with him, and it will be a take or a keep for Rodriguez as he goes up the middle into the teeth of that defense, past the 40 to the 41-yard line. So a gain of 3 for Rodriguez, and it'll set up a 3rd and 4. So a 3rd and manageable at the 41-yard line. But again, you're seeing these small gains, these little gains, but they're getting closer to the 4th and manageable without having to throw the ball. It bleeds the clock, obviously. Nothing much going to stop the clock unless it's a score at this point because of it being a 34-0 lead for Kindred. But you can't say that this offense has just been stymied all game. It's just that they cannot get to a 3rd down and manageable. As we're seeing right now with Rodriguez, he's going to hand it off. Coming over this left side is Olsen, hangs on to the ball, gets past the 41 to the 42, a gain of 1. It'll set up a 4th and 3.
And you mentioned the fact that there haven't been a lot of tackles for losses against Oak Grove and company, and I believe that's just been in part to the fact that thanks to the speed of Trayvon Rodriguez, the power of Jesse Peterson, and just the burst of Olsen, they've been able to get back to the line of scrimmage, so they're not losing yards, but they just can't seem to get to that even better, more manageable 3rd down. They've only had 1 first down in the entire game, and that was from Trayvon Rodriguez.
Backyard is to punt with Beaver and Schmitz back. This is a high end-over-end kick as Rodriguez will catch it at the 35-yard line of Kindred. And that's where the Vikings will take over from. And this Vikings offense has been pretty efficient, pretty explosive, I think is maybe even a better term for that. And it has been courtesy of Max Mcquillen, now with 190 yards through the air and 2 touchdowns. Both those touchdowns over 60 yards. He had 63-yarder to Carter Schmidt and then a 66-yarder to Lucas Klabundi. And now we see a new quarterback in the game. It is Jorgen Swenson who takes the ball, and he will keep it himself, go over that left side, past the 40 to the 44-yard line, and a gain of, 43, a gain of 8 for Swenson.
I would say if we don't see McQuillan on this drive, I would say it's a pretty safe bet that his night is over. You know, they're up 34. Defense is holding strong. You know, this is going to be a good time for Kindred to let these younger guys get some reps.
Well, you think about it. He's thrown 9 times, only 2 incompletions for 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the 14-yard touchdown run. He has put in a night's work tonight as Swenson, pistol formation, takes the snap, hands it off up the middle, trying to pick his way as Kylan Swenson, and he cannot. Defensively, Oak Grove is there to shut him down for a loss of 1 on the play. It'll set up a 3rd and 3 for the Kindred offense. And we're not seeing a lot of Trey Heinrich either. Trey, of course, had the 8-yard touchdown run earlier in the game on his 2nd carry, and it was the first score of the game at that time. So you might be right, Jerry. We may have seen the end of the starters. Swenson will fake, now go over that left side looking for some room, finds the first down, past midfield. He's got speed. Now he puts on the brakes, cuts back. What an elegant run by Swenson up to the 33-yard line, but there is a flag way back at the 48.
Possible hold, so we may see this coming back, or...
And it looks, based off what the Vikings are doing, we are going to see this one coming back. So negate what would have been
holding on the Vikings.
About a 26-yard run for Kylan Swenson, but instead the holding call back at the 48 will push it back to the 42-yard line. And it will bring up a 3rd and 4. So really a loss of 1 when it was all said and done for the Vikings instead of a strong Kylan Swenson run. And there's been some things that Kindred has done today that you know you'd like to see cleaned up if you are Coach Matt Crane, because after this, you've got Sargent County at home, and that's the last home game of the year. But Lisbon sitting there on the end of the schedule as Swenson puts up a bomb deep to left side, and it is caught. What a catch on the far sideline by Charlie Beaver. Pardon me, that's Lucas Clubundy with the incredible catch over the shoulder as Swenson gets it all the way down to the 26-yard line of Oak Grove, and a gain of 32 on the pass.
So just immediately Swenson's making his presence field known at the quarterback position with a beautiful pass, and it immediately flips field positions, and the Vikings are just poised to put up another score.
Swenson will hand it off over that right side. Looking for room is Schmitz as he is picking his way across the field, going into the end zone, even shoving one of his teammates in Clubundy out of the way as he takes it in for a 26-yard touchdown. As the Vikings are pouring it on here now, it is 40-0. Kindred with the lead.
And just so far, no answer to just this offensive gain attack by Kindred. The Grovers are just left stumped.
Jordan Sunram on to attempt the extra point, and that one is good. 5 of 6 on extra points tonight for Sunram, and it's 41-0. Kindred with 3:30 to go in the third quarter. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
At Oak Grove Lutheran School, your student will receive an education focused on strong academics, faith formation, and a heart for service. Oak Grove challenges students to discover their potential and create a better world. From sports, music, theater, and robotics, students will find a place to grow their talents. The mission of Oak Grove Lutheran School is to express God's love by nurturing students for academic achievement, lifelong Christian commitment, and loving service throughout the world. Learn more at oakgrovelutheran.com.
Daniel Gunnarsson, Jerry Peralta, back with you on yourliveevent.com. North Dakota High School football. Thank you to our sponsors, which we'll get to here after kickoff from the Vikings. As this one goes over the head of Rodriguez, he'll have to pick it up at the 5. Tries to go far side, picking his way through the Kindred coverage team, and is brought down at the 15. So a solid kick there, too, by one Jordan Swenson of the Kindred Vikings. Jorgen Swenson, I should say. He can kick, he can throw, he can play some defense. And Oak Grove coming out down 41-0. Again, like I said, thank you to our sponsors. Among them, Knickerbocker. Stop out throughout the week for mouth-watering lunch specials, weekday at the Knickerbocker, or check out their Friday nights for prime rib, ribeye, steaks, and walleye dinner. The Knickerbocker in Hickson, North Dakota. Rodriguez, shotgun formation, takes the snap, hands it off. No, he'll keep it over that right side, and then it is brought down by the Kindred defense. Rodriguez, a gain of 3 up to the 18. 33 yards on 11 carries for Rodriguez tonight. As his work has proven admirable. And again, we've seen a lot of this, Jerry, like we've talked about, the 3-yard runs, the 2-yard runs. They just have not been able to hit a big play with Rodriguez and that speed. He's in the backfield by himself now. Takes the snap, runs over to that left side, gets a good kick-out block over there on that left side, and then is taken down as he gets to the 24-yard line. And a gain of 6 will set up a 3rd and 2. We'll say a gain of 5 officially.
So very manageable 3rd down here. This is the kind of 3rd down that we have been the Grovers have just been looking for to put themselves in a good position to have an extended drive, as we're a minute 33 left in the 3rd quarter. And Trayvon Rodriguez, yeah, he has managed to get a couple 3 to 2 yard gains, and they've added up to his numbers, but just haven't been able to do anything big.
Griffin Olsen handoff off the right side, and he will find the 1st down as he gets up to the 29 and a gain of 5. With a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Grovers still trail 41-0 as we go throughout the rest of this game. We will look to make sure and give you updates from Castleton as you have Central Cass taking on Lisbon right now at the half. Score still at 28-8, pardon me, in the 3rd quarter, still at 28-8, and Jerry will be able to provide us updates as we move along. Rodriguez will keep it himself, find some room up the middle, past the 35, comes out to the 40s. He's dragging defenders, then pushed back from there by Kindred. But still a gain of 10 on 1st down.
Yeah, they'll give him the forward progress, so mark him at the 40-yard line. He is a yard shy. They're going to call it a 2nd and 1 for Oak Grove. 10 seconds left to go here in the 3rd.
And I believe they'll let that clock go to 0 and get us to the 4th quarter. Your score at the end of 3, the Kindred Vikings 41, the Oak Grove Grovers nothing. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
Schedules can be a slippery slope. With yourliveevent.com, that's just not the case. Find schedules for select Minnesota and North Dakota high school athletics at our website. That's www.yourliveevent.com. For schedule updates, follow our social media pages. Never miss again when it comes to scheduling with your live event.
Daniel Gutterson back here with Jerry Peralta as we get ready for the start of the 4th quarter between Oak Grove and Kindred. Jerry, update from Castleton.
From the looks of it, the Central Cass is driving. They are in Lisbon territory in the red zone. And they're looks like they're poised on the 1 yard line to punch it in and put themselves up 34-8.
If that score were to hold, Central Cass will move to 5-1 overall, 3-1 in the division. Lisbon to 4-2 overall, 3-1 in the division. Kindred looking to move to 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the division as Rodriguez puts Peterson in motion. Will run to that left side. It's a 2nd and short, by the way. They didn't give him the 1st down, but he'll get it and more as he gets past midfield, taken down up near the 45, but we do have a flag, and it is going to be holding against Oak Grove. So a solid run comes back for the Grovers.
No.
And if anything were to really maybe put a bow or define tonight for the Grovers, it's that. It's a couple steps forward, but just too many steps back for Oak Grove.
And they're pretty much marked about a yard behind the 10-yard line. So 2nd and 11 coming up for Oak Grove, and you put it best, Daniel. Oak Grove, whenever they get a few steps forward, they're just immediately knocked 2 steps back. As to give you the update from Castleton, Central Cass did score 34-8 at the moment with 8:07 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Central Cass looking to put up the PAT, put themselves up 35-8.
So Rodriguez went left side last time. He'll go right side this time and gets from the 29 to the 33-yard line. So a gain of 4 on the play. So we'll bring up a 3rd and 7 for Oak Grove. 52 yards on 14 carries tonight for Rodriguez, as the Oak Grove offense has really been relegated to running the ball as much as they possibly can. We've only seen one throw from Rodriguez, and that was an interception. It was the 3rd play of the game for the Grovers, and Trey Heinrich came away with the interception. Rodriguez putting a man in motion. That's Olsen over the right side. He's looking to get forward as he dives past a couple Kindred Vikings to the 38-yard line. Close to the 39, gain of 5. It'll set up a 4th and about 1 for Oak Grove, and it would appear that they're going to stay out there and go for it with under 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you're Oak Grove, you punted on every other 4 and out. You're getting closer to the end of the game. You really want to try and put yourself in a position to try and come back. And you're in a manageable 4th and 1. I see why they go for it here.
9:35 to go in this game. 41-0 Oak Grove. Rodriguez in a shotgun formation. Takes a snap, goes straight forward, past the 40, has the first down, and then is knocked down at the 43-yard line. Gain of 4.
Exactly what the Grovers needed. Get that first down. Clock still runs because they are down 41. So 9:08 left to go in the 4th, but now the Grovers are driving. They've extended the drive, give their defense a bit of a break, and now they can look to put up something.
2 men in the backfield with Rodriguez. It's Peterson and Olsen. Shotgun formation. Takes a snap. Will hand off to Olsen over the left side. Trying to cut it up. Find some room past the 45, and then just pop right at the 47-yard line. Getting in there to make the tackle for Kindred was Kylan Swenson. Strong tackle at that, with a 4-yard gain for Olsen. You know, the other thing I think of here, Jerry, is the opportunity for this offense to find something else. It is a long season. It's been a struggle tonight, but this is different. You don't have 2 of your very good players as Olsen gets past midfield, has some blocks that spring him past the 30, down to the 25-yard line. A strong run for Olsen of 29 yards. As Griffin Olsen showing off some of that speed.
Griffin Olsen getting a lot of chances tonight to really show what he can do, and he made the most of that one. Flipped the field, put the Grovers now closer to red zone territory on the Vikings 25, gets them in a position where they can finally put up some points. And this is exactly what the Grovers need, and as you mentioned, they're down 2 key players.
Rodriguez puts Olsen in motion again. We'll keep feeding him. This time, though, the defense for Kindred is right there. In the backfield to make the play, Dylan Filler. And a loss of 5 back to the 30. Now, being down those 2 players in Cody Card and Riley Bakagard, it does create an opportunity. And I think that's the way that you have to look at it as a coach, as a player, an opportunity to come in and play and show what you can do. It hasn't resulted in, say, points or what's going to end up being a victory for them, but I think what you can take away from this is the opportunity to say, hey, these are things that we could add later in the season when we get Card, when we get Bakagard back. As Rodriguez will take the snap, picking his way, trying to get past the 30. Tough to do so. Brought down from behind by Hunter Vindas after a gain of 1 for Rodriguez, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 14.
So a 3rd and very long here. Oak Grove going to try and do something. And you put it best, Daniel. Oak Grove can take these opportunities and plays that they have seen and they've run. And when they do have Cody Card or Riley Bakagard back, they can add these kinds of formations into their offense to help them down the line.
Rodriguez takes the shotgun snap, gets past the 25, which is the original line of scrimmage, to the 24-yard line on a gain of 5, and he'll set up a 4th and 9 from the 29. Some of these yards are going to look pretty good at the end of the night, rushing-wise individually for Rodriguez. Now has 62 yards on 17 carries. Griffin Olsen, meanwhile, with 46 yards on 11 carries. Those two have been doing a bulk of the work rushing-wise as Rodriguez sets up on a 4th and 9, shotgun formation. Olsen hands it off to him on the right. Now Olsen's going to throw, sets up the throw, and it is intercepted at the 6-yard line. Coming down with the ball, Mason Alamaris. So the second pass of the game is another interception for Kindred, and defensively bookending those interceptions, Heinrich and Alamaris coming away with the picks. And Kindred will take over from the 6-yard line with 5 minutes to go in this game, leading 41-0.
Yeah, and second time Oak Grove has thrown the ball today, and the second time has resulted in an interception as their ball is bobbled, and the Vikings are going to get pushed back closer to the 2-yard line.
So a loss of 4 on the play, a 2nd and 14 as the clock continues to melt away for both teams. At this point, you do have a lot of younger players, some of those that probably spend most of their time on the JV, helping the varsity get ready. So there are going to be things like bad snaps, missed handles, some fumbles. So this is the opportunity for some of those young individuals on both sides to get a chance to play, as we see a carry over the left side as it is Kylan Swenson up the near sideline. It'll be a foot race to the 40, to the 20. And Kylan Swenson, 98 yards, but hold everything as it is coming back as we have a hold back at the 5-yard line. So Kylan Swenson, who outran everybody on the near sideline, 98 yards. A big sprint, but all for nothing for him.
And the clock still runs. So as they're going all the way back, the clock is continuing to run. 3:30 to go in the 4th quarter. And as Kindred and Oak Grove make the 98-yard trek back to the 2-yard line, and now it's going to be even closer to, it's about the half-yard line to Kindred's own goal line.
That was only Kylan's 3rd carry of the night. He had 2 carries for -1 yards prior to that, and now the hold back to the 2-yard line. So it doesn't move. It just resets up a 2nd and 14 from the 2 for Kindred. And we're going to get an official's timeout with 2:46 to go. Potentially the center was needing to put his mouth guard in as Jack McDonald takes the snap. Handed off, going over that right side is the Kindred offense. Nice run for Owen Hoyme, I should say. And a gain of 8 up to the 10-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 7. Make sure and gather some of those stats for you as we get to the end of the game. Say thank you again to some of our sponsors, including the Sunderland Group, which is your leader in health and wealth in the insurance business. Visit them today at sunderlandgroup.com. Again, McDonald handoff over that left side. Nice cut This time it is again Swenson who has more room on the near sideline. Can he do it again? He stops. He cuts back in at the 50, trying to pick up blockers. Actually goes backwards to the 48-yard line, but even so, a gain of 38 on the play.
And Swenson has been making the most of all of his touches and putting up some great yards there.
And Kindred will bring in the starting offense, most likely just to put a knee on this one and end this game as they are up 41-0. The clock will continue to run. But Kindred will walk away victorious in this one. They will move to 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the conference, and will actually be standing alone atop the standings most likely, barring a miracle between Lisbon and Central Cass. As that game, Central Cass with a large lead on that one. Oak Grove will move to 0-6 overall, 0-4 in the division. A couple more sponsors I want to mention here, Jerry, as Kindred kneels out the rest of this game. Bergstrom Eye and Laser Clinic. Vision is one of life's most precious gifts, not to be taken lightly. Bergstrom Eye offers the highest quality of care with a personal touch. Book an appointment today at bergstromeye.com. And finally, Moorhead Dental Associates. The staff at Moorhead Dental Associates treats their patients as friends in a clean, relaxed environment. For more info, go to moorheaddentalassociates.com. And a friendly handshake to end this one from Oak Grove. Your final score, the Kindred Vikings 41, the Oak Grove Grovers nothing. We'll be back here on the post-game show to wrap things up, give you some final thoughts, some final stats. You're watching North Dakota High School football on yourliveevent.com.
Bergstrom Eye and Laser Clinic offers the highest quality of care with a personal touch. Vision is one of life's most precious gifts, not to be taken lightly. At Bergstrom Eye, their goal is to earn their patients' trust and loyalty and to maximize the quality of their lives. They strive to exceed patients' expectations and help each patient understand all aspects of their eye health care. Bergstrom Eye is located on South University Drive in Fargo. Book an appointment today at bergstromeye.com.
For all your flooring needs, look no further than Carlson Customs Incorporated. From tile, Cortex, and laminate flooring, waterproof floors, shower tiles, and carpet, you are sure to find what you need to update or create the perfect feel in your home or business. Locally owned and operated, Carlson Customs Incorporated. Call Todd at 218-531-0176.
At Oak Grove Lutheran School, your student will receive an education focused on strong academics, faith formation, and a heart for service. Oak Grove challenges students to discover their potential and create a better world. From sports, music, theater, and robotics, students will find a place to grow their talents. The mission of Oak Grove Lutheran School is to express God's love by nurturing students for academic achievement, lifelong Christian commitment, and loving service throughout the world. Learn more at oakgrovelutheran.com.
Back here on yourliveevent.com, Daniel Gunnarsson with Jerry Peralta. The Kindred Vikings victorious in this one, 41-0. They move to 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the Southeast Division. Meanwhile, Oak Grove falls to 0-6 and 0-4 in the Southeast Division. We're keeping our eyes on that Central Cass versus Lisbon game because of the logjam at the top of the standings. I will give you an update as we progress through this post-game show. But want to go over with Jerry here your thoughts on what you saw from a Kindred team, especially after they were coming off such an emotionally high victory, a 37-0 victory over Central Cass and Oak Grove, that potential to see them as maybe, you know, it's it's a cliche term, but it's a trap game, right?
Yeah.
You look at an Oak Grove team that had put up some fight in a couple games earlier this year. Last week against Lisbon, not ideal. What were your thoughts on the way Kindred came out and really just executed and dominated from the start?
Well, Kindred did exactly what was expected of them coming off of such an emotional game against Central Cass, which saw them shut Central Cass out 37-0. But you look at how Kindred performed tonight, their defense made a lot of big stops. They only allowed, I want to say, 3, maybe 4 first downs the entire game against Oak Grove. Offensively, Max Mcquillen, he had himself an outstanding game. We talked about Swenson and Heat and Haugen. They just played remarkable, and McQuillan led all of that through the air, only throwing it 9 times, but he had 2 big touchdowns for 60-plus yards. You can't knock that. Oak Grove defensively really just didn't have an answer for this fast-paced Kindred offense, and that was going to be the deciding factor, could Oak Grove realistically slow down Kindred's offense? And they just could not.
Kindred came into this game averaging 43.4 points per game. Weren't able to meet that tonight. Didn't end up, of course, having a score in that fourth quarter for the most part. A couple big scores in the third quarter that brought it up to 41-0. And we'll go through those kind of play-by-play right now and how Kindred got to that 41-0 score. It started out strong for the Vikings as they were able to intercept Trayvon Rodriguez, the quarterback tonight for the Grovers. Just a handful of plays later, Trey Heinrich ran it in from 8 yards out. Extra point good. It was 7-0. Next drive for Kindred after a 3-and-out, it was a Jacob Hyatt 1-yard touchdown run. PAT block. Now we're at 13-0 on the third drive of the first quarter for Kindred. Max Mcquillen found Carter Schmidt, I should say, for a 63-yard touchdown score, and that made it 20-0. The first of 2 60-yard strikes for Max Mcquillen. Things slowed down a little bit in the second quarter for the Kindred offense. Credit to that Oak Grove defense to hold strong, but with 1:10 to go in the first half, Max Mcquillen, instead of using his arms, used his legs from 14 yards out to score a touchdown, 27-0 at the break. We come right out of the chute. Kindred gets the ball to start, and first play of the third quarter after a false start, Max Mcquillen finds Lucas Klabundi for 66 yards and a touchdown, and really it was at that point the game had been put away. We did have another score for Kindred as Schmitz was able to take it in from 26 yards out. Carter Schmitz with the score made it 41-0, and that was the final on tonight's game. Some stats for you as we look for individuals. Max Mcquillen went 7-9 for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. He also had 52 yards rushing on 7 carries and a touchdown. 35 yards on 5 carries and a touchdown there. That was Trey Heinrich, who had 52 yards on 7 carries and 52 yards on the ground. Kylan Swenson, 38 yards on 2 carries. You also had Beaver with 25 yards on 2 carries, and Jorgen Swenson, with 19 yards and touchdown. 19 yards on 3 carries for him. Overall, they had 211 yards rushing, 222 yards passing as a team, and really the big play, Lucas Klabundi, with 127 yards and 3 receptions and a touchdown from him. Oak Grove, who was held scoreless, rushing-wise, 62 yards on the ground for Trayvon Rodriguez on 17 carries. He also had 46 yards on the ground for Griffin Olson, as the team ended up with 110 yards on the ground on 32 carries. So a tough night for that Oak Grove offense without 2 of their bigger stars. And if you're Oak Grove now, you move to 0-6 overall, and the next place for you've played Lisbon, you've played Kindred. what's your thought process here if you're Coach Melvin Whitney and the team as you get the rest of the schedule out of the way with Linton, H&B, Ellendale, Edgeley, Calm, and Central Cass left on the schedule?
I mean, the first thing for Oak Grove is they just got to – the one thing we saw from them tonight, and Coach Melvin Whitney mentioned this during our pregame with him, was that his team has that never say die attitude, never give up, and we saw that here. They didn't give up, even though they were down by a bunch. They still fought and pushed through all the troubles that they were having, and they gave it their all. And they're just gonna have to keep doing that, and eventually something's gonna give at, against these next few teams. Maybe they can pick up a big win against Central Cass. Who knows? The world of football is a very interesting place. It doesn't matter how good you are; anybody can beat you at any given day. And Oak Grove, we've seen some good things from them today, or in tonight, and we most likely could see them continue to grow and blossom, and maybe they'll have some more close games down the stretch.
Tough to play without Cody Card. Tough to play without Riley Bakagard. Both those two players instrumental to your success. Good effort put up by the young man from Oak Grove tonight, but a better effort put in by the Kindred Vikings as they get the victory to move to 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the conference. Speaking of the conference, do we have a final update before we sign off, Jerry, from Castleton?
Yeah, I'll give you some updates from around the state. You're starting with some 9-man football. Finley Sharon Hope Page currently leads Hatton Northwood 22-6 in the fourth quarter. Hillsborough Central Valley came away victorious 41-0 against Carrington. And looking at some EDC football, West Fargo and Fargo South are in a matchup. West Fargo, the Packers, currently leading 21-3 in the third quarter. And Lisbon and Central Cass is up in the fourth quarter, 41-8, with Lisbon driving, and they're going to get a big play down the stretch, put themselves in the red zone. So Lisbon looking to put up a touchdown here and bring themselves back within this game as there's 8:24 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's going to do it for Jerry Peralta. I'm Daniel Gunnarsson. Thank you so much for joining us here on YourLiveEvent.com for our broadcast of North Dakota High School football. Again, the final from Oak Grove. Kindred Vikings, 41. Oak Grove Grovers, nothing. You've been watching North Dakota High School football on YourLiveEvent.com.